Hello! We are Team Reboot, and we're here to present you our game, Alien Escape.
Alien Escape is a puzzle sandbox game about an alien trying to regain its freedom from an abandoned laboratory.
From the start of this project production, we knew we wanted to encourage the players' creativity by letting them find their own solution to the challenges they encountered. We allowed them to freely manipulate the environment of the game, and since the gameplay was about freedom, we wanted the story to be about it as well.
An alien creature seemed like the perfect main character for our theme of freedom. Indeed, aliens are often kept prisoner in lab in a popular culture and are recognizable archetypes.
Our character had to behave in a unique way in order to express its alien nature. However, its control also had to be familiar enough. We initially worked on jumps using the alien morphological specificities, but this approach didn't feel comfortable to use. So we decided to keep the movement familiar instead, and we transfer the complexity to the character's shapeshifting and telekinetic abilities. We created a mechanic for the characters to directly manipulate objects. Consequently, we had to assign those objects unique properties to make this ability entertaining. We opted to define those objects depending on their material component, such as wood, metal, or glass. In addition, we created a special cable whose function was to activate or deactivate machines.
As the level designer, I had to get out of my comfort zone. A sandbox game couldn't be built the same way as a more linear game, as we wanted to encourage the player's creativity. When building the levels, I made sure there were more than enough gameplay elements at the player's disposal, so they wouldn't be restricted to a single approach to resolve their challenges.
As a character artist, I worked closely with the FX artist and the programmer to create a character with striking slimy features. We initially considered two options for the alien design. We either thought of the creature following a classic workflow, or of a mask that would be more slimy looking. At first, we decided to go for the second options after finding inspiration from the work of Asher Rue, a technical artist from Epic Games. However, because Asher Rue used vector fields and physics, it proved to be an unreachable goal, so we ended up with a compromise between both options.
We decided to use realistic effects for the environment. We stylized them for the characters so they would pop out on the screen. One of my greatest challenges was the robot scanners due to its gameplay requirements. For example, I had to adapt it to all surfaces. I used light material with a mask for the shape and a grid that was independent from the light, in order to avoid inward deformation. I also wanted to give the scanner a retro look to match it with the historical time period of the game.
The main character was supposed to display liquid-like characteristics, and we wanted his interactions with the environment to seem sticky and slimy. One approach we tried early on was ray marching. However, since we couldn't put a specific character mesh over the ray marching sphere, we decided to go for an implementation using Unreal's materials and global distance fields.
Once we had managed to render the slimy body impression, I created the artistic part of the shader and their multiple effects. The goal was to match the artistic direction of a slimy, glossy and colorful creature. One of my greatest challenges was to create the slime trail that the character always leaves on his path. I had to maintain a steady texture while assigning it a lively and gooey effect.
A camera is the vehicle through which our player experiences the world. As such, a solid camera system is necessary to make the player's experience as enjoyable as possible. We experimented with several camera systems, such as Unreal's camera, single, multiple cameras, as we tried to materialize our vision. Finally, we went for attaching a camera to our player while maintaining a certain lag, to ensure consistent gameplay metrics. Collaborating on the U asset files, especially with the lack of tracking tools such as Perforce, created multiple issues. Therefore, a solid collaboration scheme was required in order to progress. We agreed and set up a Git branching strategy to follow in order to ensure easy collaborations. Several blueprint files were also moved over to C++ in order to optimize code as well as to avoid conflicts.
I wanted to differentiate the two characters throughout their movement styles. I gave the alien protagonist childish and fun motions to manifest its style. By contrast, I made the hunter's movement seem intimidating and serious, befitting of an antagonist character.
For the pipeline, I use the Notion software in order to facilitate the organization and the communication of your team. I was responsible for the connecting Mav and other workshop students to create and integrate sound of the project. Example, I'm managing the task list with the priorities and giving deadline and feedback, etc. The greatest issue in the project production was the small size of each team, which was made of 3 people, 1 from each specialty, and the level designer who was only available 2 weeks a month, as it was essential to keep track of task priorities and to facilitate our communication. We reduced the sprint time frames to 1 week instead of 2. We also working tightly with the transversal team and other class to get additional manpower.
We hope you find your own way out of the lab in Alien Escape.
Thank you for your attention.